Hi everyone, this is Sarah from SRS Designs, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make this mini Loomigurumi owl. It's 3D, it's stuffed, it's squishy. It takes a total of 385 bands. This top color here, which is orange, is 109. The bottom color is 135. For the wings, if you want to do them in a different color, I'll give you the count. That's 72. You'll need 5 little bands for the beak, and for the eyes you'll need 64. I'm also going to be using a hook, a stitch marker, some stuffing, and I have these animal eyes that I just happen to have, and I'm going to use those. If you have some big eyes, or you can use beads, whatever. I'm not exactly sure what size these are. They're probably bigger than 9mm because they're bigger than those safety eyes I have. But I got them at Michael's, and I've been looking for a reason to use them, so I'm using these. So let's get started. I am going to make a girly sort of owl, and we're gonna make it pink and purple. So we're gonna get started with a magic ring with 6 bands. So like I always do, I'm gonna pull aside 6 bands, and I'm gonna make a magic ring. So I put the first band on my hook and wrap it around twice. So I have these 3 loops. I'm gonna pull through 1 band, so it's on my, so that triple cap band is now in the middle. I'm gonna put my hook back on, gonna pinch it and make a slip knot. Now I'm going to take my hook with the band still on it, go back through that cap band. That's why I've pinched it, so I can make sure I'm getting through all 3 of those bands. I'm going to pull another band through, put it back on my hook. I'm going to make a slip knot with that band, and then I'm going to make a second slip knot with the band that was already on my hook, and now I've attached those 2 bands together. Now I'm just going to continue to do the magic ring. So pulling a band through and making the slip knot. And I'm making 2 slip knots, 1 through the first band and then 1 through the second band. I'm just doing them in one big sweeping motion. And these bands that I'm using are from Wonder Looms. It's that big tub of like 8,000 bands you can get from Walmart. So here's my magic ring. You want to make sure you've gotten it correct and you're putting your hook right in the correct spot. We're going to count 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this band here is where I'll put my hook to start my next row. And row number 2, we're going from 6 to 12. So that means we'll be putting 2 bands in each of our stitches. So here's our first one, and I'll be putting the stitch marker on. And since I'm doing an increase, I'm going to be putting my hook right back in the same spot it was before for the second band. So that's 2. Moving over, I'm going to put in 3 and 4. Then 5 and 6. Same spot. 2 bands in each. Oops, that one looked kind of funny. What happened there? And that's 12. And my stitch marker's kind of funny over here. So here we are back at the beginning underneath our stitch marker. Our next row we're going up to 18. So we're going to be doing a single band, and then in our next moving stitch marker, in our next stitch we're going to put 2 bands. So that will bring us from 12 to 8. 1 and 2. Now we're going to move over and do 1, one band, and then we'll do a second band. 1, 2. And we're going to continue this pattern of doing 1 and 2. I've had this owl made for a really long time, and I haven't had a chance to make a tutorial for it. But he's pretty cute. Both my kids are in camp today. My daughter is actually at a week-long sleepaway camp, and my son is at a Lego camp. So I'm trying to take advantage of the house being quiet for filming. Well, here's our last set of singles and increases. And now the next place we can put our hook is right under that stitch marker. So we are back to the beginning. We're going to do 3 more rows of, actually we're going to do 4 rows of 18. 4 rows of 18. So I'm going to pause it, do 4 more rows of 18 stitches all around. That's 1 stitch in each, and then I'll meet you back. All right, welcome back, and you should have finished those 4 more rows of your top color. Like here is the orange, and I'm gonna switch to a light purple where the blue is. I'm sorry, where the yellow is. So if you want to go ahead and switch colors, now you're gonna do it. If you want to keep it the same color, then you can just keep going the same color. So I'm gonna switch, and I'm gonna use this color, and we're gonna do 18 stitches all around. Move my stitch marker, and then I'm just going to do 18 around. And then I'm back at the beginning, just like that. So now I need you to do 2 more rows just like this of the second color. So 2 more rows, so there'll be a total of 3 rows, and I'll meet you back. All right, now you should have finished those additional rows. So we have 3 rows of the second color here, and we're gonna stop for a second from this part, and we're going to do some of the other pieces. So I'm going to take my stitch marker out because I need my hook. So you can either put a stitch marker here or get another hook or secure it with a C-clip because you do need your hook. And we're going to do the little bit of eyes. So I made these 2 round white discs, and that we're going to use as the eyes. So how we're going to do that is we're going to make a magic ring with 6. So we'll be doing it the same way we did before. So we'll take a band and wrap it around our hook, and we've got these 3 loops, and we're going to pull through our 6 bands. So that's our 1. We're going to put it back in. Going to pull 2, slip knotting it through all 3 bands. 3, 4, 5, and 6, just like that. And we're going to put our hook underneath that first band in the row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And for our second row, we are going to put 2 bands in each of the 6. So we're going to be moving up to 12 stitches. I'm going to put my stitch marker on. We're going to go back in the same spot for that second band. So that's 1 and 2. Here will be 3 and 4. 5 and 6. 7 and 8. Here will be 9 and 10, and then in our last spot here on the row we'll do 11 and 12. Our eye has one more row, so here we are back to the beginning. For our next row, and we're only doing one more row on the eye, we are going to put our hook just through the front loop only. We're not going to do it through both loops like we normally do. We're going to do a front loop only whole entire row, and that's going to give us sort of that edge on the eye. See how it kind of bumps up? That way when we put our bead in, it'll look it'll look nestled inside. So we're just going to go all the way around doing our front loop only. Just in the front. And there we are back at the beginning. I'm going to take my stitch marker off. And I'm going to make a slip knot. I'm going to pull one band through everything on my hook so that I can secure it. Now I'm going to take this band and I want to hide it in the back so that we can't see it. So I'm just going to pull it through everything and hide it back here. Just like that. I'm going to actually leave it like this and I'll show you why I'm going to do that. Okay, so now we want to put our eyes on. So I'm going to put my safety eye through and I'm going to loop that on here, so that's why I left it like that. And I'm going to grab my other eye. I'm just going to put them right through the middle of the magic ring. And then I'm going to decide where I want the front of my owl to be, just like this. So now I'm just going to put the eyes on. Just going to pick a spot, stick them on. And I'm actually, see right here where there's the little bump from that row, I'm going to put those together in the middle. And that's going to sort of just make it, you know, that's why I decided sort of make it like that. And so they go right next to each other, and I like them that they're a little bit smushed together like that. I don't think that's a problem. So I'm gonna flip it inside out, and I'm gonna put on the backs of my safety eyes. It's a little tight here. Let's get them snapped on. They have these little plastic backs that go on. We'll keep them from falling out. There we go. Okay. And there is the eyes. Now, what I did on my sample, and I'm going to do it again, is there's a separation between the two. So actually what I did was I went through with my hook just between the two, and I was just going to make a slip knot to try to drag them together so that they're more hooked together. Just like that. And kind of flatten them out a little bit if you want. There we go. And I'm going to hide this little slip knot loop inside because we are going to stuff it. So I'm just going to hide it inside. And there we are with the eyes. And now we want to make a little beak to go right in the middle. So now we want to make our little beak. So we're going to take one band and I'm going to wrap it around my hook 3 times. And I'm going to pull one band through that triple cap band. Now I'm going to make 1 single crochet inside that triple cap band. But I'm going to be using the other, not the slip knot crochet technique, but the other one that you can use where you use 2 bands in 1 stitch. So I pulled 1 band through, put it back on my hook. So here's that chain and the one I just pulled through, and now I'm going to take another band and I'm going to pull it through everything. Back on my hook, and I'm going to make a slip knot with this band. So there it becomes the little beak. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go up in between the nose there and between the eyes, I'm sorry, and pull that through so it's sticking out just like that. And then you're going to want to secure it on the inside. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to go behind, I'm going to pull through 3 of the bands, and I'm going to put the yellow band on from my nose and this white band that I used to secure the eyes together, and I'm going to pull a pink body colored band through and make a slip knot, and that will just secure it on the back. And we won't even see it because it's inside. Oops, not tight. Quite tight enough. There we go. So there is the little nose. So we're getting there. Almost done. So now what we're gonna do is we need to add 3 more rows of purple right here. So I'm gonna pause it, and you're gonna do 3 more rows of 18 stitches all the way around to lengthen the body of the owl, and I will meet you back. All right, welcome back. I've done 3 more rows of the purple, the second color on the bottom here. And now we're gonna stop and take our hook out again. And I'm just gonna slide my stitch marker up so I can take my hook out without having to worry about my bands falling out. And we're gonna do the wings. And I'm gonna do the wings in pink, which was my top color. So you can pick whatever color you'd like. And I didn't mention this one with the eyes, which I'm assuming is very obvious, but you will need 2 wings. That's just what you need, because there's one on each side. So for the wing, we're going to be using the other crochet technique with the loom bands, and that is not the slip knots, but where we're using 2 bands to make each stitch. So I'm going to take a band and I'm going to make a cap band on my hook. So I have 2 loops here, and I'm going to chain 2. So there's 1 and there's 2. I'm going to be going back into the cap band, and I'm going to make 3 crochets in this 1 cap band. So here's our first crochet. We're going to pull 1 band through, put it back on our hook. Our second band is going to go through everything on the hook, and then it goes back into that cap band. I'm going to repeat. I'm going to hold this on my hook, pull 1 band through the cap band. Now I'm going to pull 1 band through everything, going back to that cap band again, pulling 1 band through, and then 1 band through everything, and it goes back on my hook. So there's 3 single crochets in that cap band. Now I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to turn my project around. So I'm going to pinch this band so I don't lose it. I'm going to turn my hook around. Now I'm going to do going to put my hook back through there's 3 stitches here. So we're going to be doing 2 single crochets in this first stitch, then 1 single crochet, and then 2 single crochets in this stitch to increase it, to make it wider. So here's that first band. I'm pulling through back on my hook, and I'm going to pull 1 band through. So that's my first single crochet in my first stitch. So I'm putting my hook back in the same spot, and I'm going to do the second crochet, single crochet. So pulling 1 band through, and then 1 through everything on my hook. Now I'm moving over to there were 3 crochets in that row we did previously. I'm putting my hook in the second one, which is the middle, and I'm going to do 1 crochet in that spot. So pulling 1 band through, 1 band through everything on my hook. Now here is that third stitch, and I'm going to do 2 crochets in it. So here's 1, pull a band through everything, back in the same spot. We're going to pull 1 band through, and then 1 through everything. Now we're going to chain 1, and we're going to turn. Now we're going to do something similar again. We're going to do 2 crochets in this end stitch, a single, a single, a single, and then 2 crochets in the end to make it even wider. So here's that first crochet, and going back in the same spot, I'm going to do a second. So the first band, and then there's the second band, which puts everything from the hook. Now I'm going to do 3 singles. I move into the next stitch. I'm going to pull 1 band through, 1 band through everything on my hook. I'm going to move to the second available spot. So this is the second, 1 band through everything, and now moving over again, 1 band, 1 through everything. And now here is our last spot. We're going to put 2 stitches in there. So here's our first stitch, and then back in the same spot we're going to put a second one. So 1, and then 2. Back on the hook. And to end this, I am just going to make a slip knot with this last rubber band. So go ahead and pause it and make a second wing that looks exactly like this. Okay, now you should have your 2 wings, and we are going to attach them to our owl. So we have each of the wings should have a band that was used to secure the end. We're going to use this to attach it, and we need 2 more bands to attach it. So I'm going to go through that first initial cap band at the top of the triangle, and I'm going to make another slip knot, and then I'm going to go over to this other side here, and I'm going to go into the band that's at the end, and I'm going to make a slip knot with a band there. So now that each of my triangle points will have a slip knotted band that I can use to secure the wings. Just like that. So here is our owl in half. I'm using the side of the wing, the top here where the cap band was, as my top point, and I'm going to put it right here, just 1 above where the pink started. So I'm going to take my hook, I'm going to pull it through there, and just like that. And I'm going to flip it inside out. So here is where it is, and I'm going to secure this on the inside. My other 2, I have it inside. If you can do it on the inside, that way you don't have to keep flipping it back and forth, then you can do it. If not, flip it outside. But I'm just going to take my hook, and I can quickly pull that band through on one side. My wing is laying flat. I'm going to pull it through on this side. So now I have all 3 of my bands on the inside. just like that. So I'm actually going to pop them all on my hook because they are kind of stretched far apart, and I am going to pull one band through and make a slip knot to secure them on the inside. And if you pop it back out the other way, you'll see that they're completely secured. So I'm going to do it on the other side. So there's my owl, and here I want to put his other wing on, and it's right. If you've done a proper amount of rows, you should definitely have room at the bottom. So I want to get his wing right there in the middle of his side. I'm going to pull that band through. Can you see what I'm? Just like that. Nice and tight through. Gonna turn him inside out again. So here's the first band. And then I'm gonna pull through these other ones. So that his wing is secure on the inside. All three of those bands on my hook. I'm gonna make a slip knot with the band. Done. And it's okay if it's messy and stuff inside because we're gonna stuff it. You're not gonna see any of that. And there's his wings. Happy owl to have wings. We're done with the pink. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go back to our blue, our purple color, our second color, and I'm gonna put my hook back through where I was before. And we are going to decrease. We're going down to 14. We were at 18. So I'm gonna do 2 single crochet. So here's my first. And then I'm gonna do a second. And then I'm gonna decrease. And how we decrease is we grab one stitch, the next stitch, and then the stitch after that. So now we have 2 stitches on our hook, and these 2 stitches will be going down to 1 stitch. And I'm gonna repeat that. So I'm gonna do a single. So there's, oops, lost it. So here's our first single. Then we're gonna do another single, and then we're gonna do a decrease. Single, single, decrease. So we'll start that pattern again. A single band, and then another single, and then we're going to decrease. 1, 2. So those 2 bands have become 1. We're gonna repeat. Ready? Single, single again, and then the decrease. So that's grabbing 1 and 2. And then we're going to end with 2 single crochets in this row. 1 and 2. And we're back at the beginning. So now we're seeing we're starting to close off the bottom. Now we're going to stuff our little guy. So I'm going to take my stitch marker out, and I'm going to put it through all 3 of those stitches where I have my hook. That way my hook doesn't interfere with stuffing. If you want to grab some stuffing, you can cut open, and I'm still using an old pillow that I had cut open a long time ago that I wasn't using. You can use polyfill fiber that you can get at any kind of craft store. And if you're not using that much polyfill, because a bag will last you forever, you could always use cotton balls. You can get them pretty cheap, like at the dollar store. So we're just gonna stuff him just like that. And I'm gonna stuff it really tight on the inside because I want to give myself a little working room right here so that I don't get too much fuzz stuck in my hook when I'm doing stitches. So now my hook is going back in, and we're gonna do a decrease again. So we're gonna do a single crochet for this row. I'm doing a single crochet, and then we're going to do a decrease. So I'm grabbing the next stitch and then the next one after that, and I'm pulling one band through both of those. Oops, it slipped out. Those stitches are now together. We're going to do it again. We're doing a single crochet, and then we're going to do a decrease. So we're grabbing the next two stitches, a single, and then grabbing the next two for the decrease. 1 and 2. Then we're going to do a single, and then our next two is a decrease. 1 and 2. And then we have 2 stitches left, and we're going to do a decrease and with these 2 last stitches in the row. 1 and 2. Now we're back at the beginning. In our last row, we're going to do decreases to end and close up. So I've got 1 stitch on my hook. I'm going to grab a second one, and I'm going to do a decrease. I'm going to put my stitch marker on for this last row just to make sure that I'm where I want to be. So I'm going to do another decrease, and that's grabbing both of those stitches. 1 and 2, another decrease, and then another decrease. 1 and 2, and now we're back here. I'm going to put I put my hook in the last stitch that was available. I'm going to pull through 1 band to make a slip knot to tie it off. Just like that. Take my stitch marker out, and I'm going to hide this band on the inside. Just like that. So that's my owl. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I'd love to see owls if you make any. You can post them on my Instagram, which is at SRS Designs, or you can find me on Facebook, also SRS Designs, and post them there. If you like this tutorial, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up. And it would be great if you subscribe to my channel. That way you can see all of my new designs that have been coming out. Have a great day and keep looming.